Welcome to the Bulldog Breakdown. We'll head into week number 3. Let's look back quickly, Hutson Mason, at the win over Murray State. Georgia with a blowout win at home in front of a really good crowd and hot temperatures. What'd you make of the Bulldog victory?
A little bit of a slow start. I think obviously Georgia finished the way you wanted to. Put up 60 points. Anytime you do that, that's pretty good offensively. Look, it was a great day. Got a lot of backups to get in there. Some of the backups that you're going to be needing to contribute this season. Stats look good the first 2 weeks, but you've played Vanderbilt and Murray State. So obviously we knew the next 2 weeks it was going to be tough to kind of withdraw and figure out what Georgia was good and bad at. But part of the schedule, you got to deal with it. But there was good and bad, and mostly good. Way more good than bad.
Yeah, look at this. Let's get into the offense here and really break that side of the ball down. And Hud, I think offensively what we'll do is beat most of the teams we face this year just with pure numbers of the quality depth on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going 8 quality deep on the offensive line. We're going to overwhelm a lot of these defensive fronts physically. You look at the quarterback spot, we got one of the top quarterbacks in college football, a very deep and talented running back core that we showed off against Murray State. Zamir White having some success. That was good to see. Swift looks better and better. Harrian's a man back there in the backfield. Cook, and we got to see McIntosh.
Yeah.
Also, the receivers, I think, are really improving. Everybody left the game talking about George Pickens.
Yeah, what I see, Buck, is Georgia's offense is designed to get safety, one-on-one matchups with the running backs and safeties or corners, which tells me the offensive line and tight ends is doing their job. They're taking care of the numbers in the box. And look, if you can get a matchup in a run game with DeAndre Swift on a corner or DeAndre Swift on a safety, go earn your scholarship, kid, because that's what you're here for, one-on-one, to make a guy miss. And I like that matchup all day. And that's really what I've seen the first 2 weeks. Dominique Blaylock, George Pickens, some of the young receivers getting involved with Kyrus Jackson's injury. You could see a little bit more of Blaylock. And then some of the backup running backs that you're going to need. Look, Alabama, Georgia, I think the top-tier teams in college football have 2, if not 3, really good running backs. They may not all carry and get the same amount of balls in a game, but you've got 3 guys you can depend on anytime, anywhere throughout a game, and that's really what's, to me, is paramount of Georgia figuring out who's that number 2, number 3 guys they go throughout the season.
Tight end Eli Wolf with a couple of big catches in the game in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
I like what I'm seeing out of this Georgia offense. And Jake Fromm setting the table. He's played really well here at the beginning of the season. Hasn't had to do a heck of a lot, and it reflects in the stats, the numbers that he's putting up. What was he, 11 for 12 in the game?
I think 10
putting the
for
ball
11, yeah.
Right where it needs to be. Let's talk about George Pickens for a second. Looks like a difference maker to me. Now, is he ready to play at an All-American level? Well, no. He's got some growing to do. But I tell you, that deep ball catch that he made, diving, extending for the ball, then turning, taking the blow with the ground on the back and the shoulder so he could hold on to the football. This guy, you can see it, he's super talented. May remind people of A.J. Green. There's going to be a lot of fun watching this guy play as he gets better and better.
Yeah, the ball skills. I mean, to track the ball in a deep ball, as you know, whether you're playing Murray State or Alabama, I mean, to catch a ball over your shoulder and to concentrate, it doesn't matter really the opponent. That's a tough catch no matter what. Now, the way he was blowing by Murray State DBs, it's going to be obviously tougher when you're going up against Notre Dame's DBs in a week or some of the other guys in the SEC. That's still to be determined, but you definitely like what you've seen so far, just the ball skills, catching the ball with his hands, and he's getting more and more playing time. So I think the more they can get out of Dominique Blaylock and George Pickens, the more it's going to help this receiving core, because I think they're the most explosive guys you got, but they're only freshmen. So they got to figure out where to go and where to be there and how to be there and how Jake Fromm wants them and can trust them. But it's a good sign that your most explosive guys are your youngest guys on the roster.
What did you think of the backup quarterback? Got a lot of playing time.
Yeah.
He needed a lot of playing time. Coming in for Jake Fromm, playing a lot of the game. I thought, for the most part, looked really, really good.
Yeah, I thought both guys looked good. I thought they looked at command of the offense. I thought Coach Coley did some things outside of the base offense that fit their skill set. So those are always good opportunities for those guys to get in there and do what they can, because that's another backup position that, you know, knock on wood, Georgia fans are sure hoping they never have to see those guys But you're always one hit away, and look at the NFL this year, look at college football, or excuse me, last week. So a lot of number one quarterbacks go down. So those reps are really invaluable in blowout games like that, because you just, unfortunately, Terry Wilson at Kentucky, you saw him go down.
Bennett, nice touchdown pass to Robertson in the corner of the end zone. I thought that was encouraging. So I tell you what, we'll come back on the other side of this Bulldog breakdown. We'll take a look at this Georgia defense, talk about them, and also take a peek into this coming weekend's game with Arkansas State, that is. Buck Belue, Hutson Mason, Bulldog breakdown.
Be a part of radio history here in Atlanta by securing the 680 The Fan 25th Anniversary Retro T-shirt, like Hutson Mason and I are wearing right now.
Great thing is all proceeds will go to a great cause. Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, all the great folks over there will benefit from it. You can get your shirt and hat, trucker hat. That's always great for the summertime. 680thefan.com/retro, Buck. People may get that confused with Metro because we're going to look so good in it.
Don't fool around. Do it now and be looking good.
Bulldog breakdown. Let's talk Georgia defense, who, again, has got a lot of quality depth all the way through this defense. My little concern is the interior defensive line, but I'm not worrying about that right now. Saw a lot of good things at the edge rusher spot. Nolan Smith with a couple of pressures, 1.5 sacks. Jermaine Johnson, another coming off the edge. Things are looking up as far as the edge rushers go. Azeez Ojulari.
Yeah.
Also, those three guys look very promising.
Yeah, they did, and that was something that was big conversations, were had in the offseason about havoc rate. I think for me it was pass defense for the Bulldogs. I mean, you saw the big explosive touchdown in man coverage with no safety in the middle of the field, and Georgia's turnover rate, which they're at 0 right now, turnover margin. They forced 3 and they've given up 3. So I'd like to see I think they're getting to the quarterback. Their run defense is really good, but that turnover margin kind of set at par right now, and hopefully things will change. So I thought pass defense was a little shaky in man situations, and then would like to see the turnover margin be in favor of Georgia. And I think those things, obviously, you always look, there's a direct correlation to turnover margin and winning games in the SEC.
Inside linebacker, I really like Monty Rice. I think he'll be one of the better inside linebackers you'll see this year, and he continues to improve. And Nakobe Dean got on the field for the first time, the freshman, 5-star, who looks like he's fitting in really well. And I tell you, I like also that inside linebacker spot. You've got Quay Walker that's played a lot of football, and Quay looks like he's fitting in. Those 3 young inside linebackers, that's a pretty good little trio they're going to be playing the rest of the year.
Yeah, it was a position group that didn't get a lot of, they were young, but they didn't get a lot of attention in the offseason because everyone was talking about, can you get to the quarterback and can you stop the run? But you're right. That inside linebacker position, not as big of a question mark as some other positions on the defense, but you better have some dudes on the inside that can do a couple different things with speed and covering running backs. Everybody's throwing the football now. You play Kentucky and Missouri and Florida. You better have some stout inside linebackers that can cover in space and stop the run.
Safety spot looks really solid with LeCount, Reed. The outside cornerback spots need to see them get a little better, improve. But I like what Mark Webb's doing at that nickel cornerback spot. He leads the team in tackles, has a pass defended. Mark Webb, not a lot of talk about him and the way he's playing, but he's been really solid.
Yeah, I think for the most part, given the competition the first 2 weeks, those guys have been solid again. Murray State's quarterback went 20 of 25. That was something that wasn't talked about. And if you're a Georgia fan, that concerns me a little bit. It's hard to go 20 for 25 in routes on air, let alone against a secondary for the University of Georgia. So, I obviously want to see some of that man coverage cleaned up a little bit with some of the younger DBs on the outside.
Yeah, a lot of the 3-3-5 look, it was by design, getting away from the base because you're facing a team that's trotting out 4 wide receivers in their base set. So you're seeing Kirby, Lanning, Schumann willing to alter the schemes from week to week to match up with the competition. Let's talk about this coming Saturday, Arkansas State. What are you looking to see out of Georgia in game number 3?
Well, some of the things that I had previously mentioned, turnover margin, I like to see Georgia take care of the football, but force more turnovers, be more ball-oriented. offensive line. I think that the recipe is going to be the same. They're going to bully guys up front. They're going to wear down a team again, just outsized offensively. Maybe Jake Fromm will get to play into the second quarter and throw the ball more than 10 or 11 times. But I think the receivers, I want to see, some of these young guys again. Can they
continue to improve, right?
Continue to improve.
Where you need to be, so the quarterback has confidence to deliver the ball when he needs to get rid of it.
Yeah, I agree. And then defensively, I said it, just clean up in man coverage. There's going to be times throughout the season where you're going to need to blitz to put pressure on quarterbacks, and you've got to be able to trust those guys out there that they can play solid man-to-man coverage. Can't always play zone and get pressure with 4 guys, so those are some of the things I'll be looking for.
Yeah, Arkansas State, the final preseason game of the season, it really picks up with Notre Dame coming to Athens next week. It's going to be a lot to talk about there. But your final chance to really get things polished up. And I think at this point, it's really the final game to take a look at a lot of the players.
Yeah.
After this game with Arkansas State Saturday, coaching staff will narrow the focus as far as the players getting playing time and really start getting those guys more and more reps heading into the meat of the schedule. Yeah. Notre Dame showing up. One area I see where we can really exploit Notre Dame looking to next week is the physical running game, as you're talking about. We're going to overwhelm a lot of teams. Yeah. Notre Dame, they're working on shoring up that run defense before they show up at Sanford Stadium.
Yeah, they better. What they give up, 275 to Louisville on the ground? I can tell you one thing, Georgia can run the ball better than Louisville can. So
another big weekend for the Dogs. They should rock and roll against Arkansas State. The Red Wolves, I think they're calling it. Next week, hey, episode 4 of the Bulldog Breakdown, get into this Notre Dame game. We're all excited about that.